Welcome into Hockey Sense, everybody. Brought to you by First Community. It's our Friday tradition. Great to have you with us. As always, I'm Andy Strickland here at the Half Coast Studios. Yes, First Community brings us Hockey Sense each and every week. So many great things happening with First Community. The best place to do your banking. Everybody should be feeling pretty good right now. One of the most entertaining games we've seen in a long time last night down at the Enterprise Center with the Blues and the Florida Panthers. I mean, just felt like it was going to go back and forth. More penalties than you could have ever even drawn up. I mean, just crazy how many penalties that were called. But I will say this, in fairness to the referees, and as crazy as it was, I mean, we're seeing 3-on-3 during regulation, 3 separate 4-on-4s, 4-on-3s, 5-on-3s. I mean, just insanity all around. For the most part, they were all penalties. The one was a little bit crazy, I think, with Evan Rodriguez taking the high stick from Nick Bukestad. I don't know. Was he bleeding? Was he not bleeding? We couldn't really tell. But I would imagine the referees, they must have seen blood on the ice for them to originally, I guess, give it a 4-minute double minor for high sticking. Although that's the rule. If you're going to review it, you got to give it a double minor. I don't think you can review it on a minor. Just a 2-minute minor for high sticking. So they gave him the double minor. And sure enough, yeah, the video confirmed that it was a high stick. Did it confirm blood? I guess it doesn't really matter when it gets to that point. So it's kind of a little bit of a strange rule. And, you know, sometimes rules don't get changed. And the higher-ups and the people that really make these rules or have a lot of say in changing rules, you don't even explore it unless situations like last night occur. And I think when something like last night occurs, it probably creates a little bit of conversation about what to do with that rule moving forward. First Community, how about the $100 auto refi promotion? The Federal Reserve has just lowered rates again. Good news for anyone who needs to borrow money to buy a new home or a car. They've got great deals at First Community for car loans. Like when you go buy a car, or if you're going to lease a car, ask them to go through First Community because they currently have auto loan rates under 5% for qualified borrowers. They also offer the same rates whether the car you're buying is new or used. Very unusual that you get the same rate for a used car as you would for a new car. That almost never happens. So it's for a limited time. If you refinance your auto loan from another financial institution, then refinance it to First Community, you'll get $100 back. Not bad, right? The offer does exclude current First Community auto loans, but you can apply online at firstcommunity.com or call toll-free for all the details. 1-800-905-7585. 1-800-905-7585. And ask about that auto refi promotion. Get $100 in your pocket. We can all use $100. Dirt cheap, fun, your one-stop party shop. Download the app today and get your goods delivered for free. That's right. If you deliver or you live within 10-mile radius of a dirt cheap location, you get everything delivered to you for free. But you have to use the app for the delivery and to see where the nearest location is for you. They've got so many locations. I guarantee you that you live within 10 miles of a dirt cheap location. So check that out. Dirt cheap, fun, your one-stop party shop. Don't sleep on the party supplies and everything else they have going on there. Best selection of booze, wine, and beer. They got lottery tickets. They even have cigars. They've got everything. But the paper supplies. Are you having Valentine's Day parties? Are you a room dad or your wife's a room mother? She's got to go out and buy all this stuff. Get it from Dirt Cheap. Graduation parties are just around the corner if you start thinking about that. St. Patrick's Day parties taking place in March. That'll be here before you know it as well. Check out Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop. Blue Note Roofing. You see the sign behind me. 314-920-5713. 314-920-5713. Get that free estimate today from our good buddy David Novak. You know he'll take care of you. Nobody supports hockey like David Novak and Blue Note Roofing. Nobody does. They're out there working in this extreme cold, too. I think it's a high of 20 today. Some of you listening who live in some of the northern parts say, hey, that's like a heat wave. But 20 degrees, I mean, it's cold no matter where you are, I think. It was like in the single digits this morning. We've had some real cold weather here. Obviously, snow is on the ground, and it's not going anywhere until the temperature increases. So that's where we're at right now with all the weather. But it doesn't stop David Novak and his team over there with Blue Note Roofing. Give them a call today, 314-920-5713. gutters, soffit, fascia, siding, roofing, whatever it is you're looking for, they'll take great care of you. They work with all the big insurance companies too. And here's a tip. I think if your roof gets to like 10 years or older, some insurance companies will not pay for your roof to be replaced. So check it out. See how old your roof is. And then come out and see if you need a new roof. If your roof's like 7, 8, 9 years old, don't wait until it's after 10 years and the insurance companies won't pay for it. Take advantage of that and do that today. Blue Note Roofing. Lordo's Diamonds. Get that special someone, something special in your life from Lordo's Diamonds. Right there in the heart of Ladue. 314-432-8008. 314-432-8008. LordosDiamonds.com. They've been around for 70 years, and there's a reason for it. It's called customer service. They treat their customers unbelievably well. So if you go in there with a $500,000 budget or a $500 budget, guess what? You're getting treated exactly the same because that's how Mike and Jimmy Lordo do it. Nobody does it better. I'll never go anywhere else. Never go anywhere else. They got men's watches, too, and men's jewelry as well. So check it out. Chains. But so many options if you're looking to pop that question around Valentine's Day or anytime coming up this spring. You're starting to look at engagement rings. Nobody does engagement rings like Lordo's Diamonds. All right, big game last night. Man, so many different things to get into. First off, it was great to see Jake Neighbors return, Jordan Kyrou return, Oscar Sundqvist return. Let's start with Sundqvist because he got cut by Connor McDavid. Very scary situation. I had him on our postgame show last night on FanDuel Sports Network, and he said it was the most scary situation he had ever been involved in as a hockey player. And I think because his teammates were panicking. You know, once you see blood, you start to panic a little bit. So a great game last night. Good to see the Blues find a way to get it done in the final seconds of the game. Jimmy Snuggerud, let me say this about Jimmy Snuggerud because he's had so many chances, and I know we celebrate the shot attempts, and listen, I'm all about shot attempts, man. You want to see this guy getting a shot off. That is his biggest weapon, and he needs to be able to put himself in position to, you know, shoot the puck. Have you ever watched him play in the World Juniors or international tournaments or at University of Minnesota? That's his biggest weapon. He's a shooter. So the fact that he's getting attempts obviously is a real positive. And it's his first full season in the NHL. You can't just look at statistics alone. But the challenge will be now for him to become more of a efficient goal scorer, consistent goal scorer, because he's had chances. And sometimes you just got to bear down and you got to put the puck in the net. I mean, he gets a little wild, gets a little crazy sometimes, a little too aggressive with his shot. You know, like it just sometimes can look a little unconventional because he's so fast. He shoots the puck so hard. And his backswing is hard. His follow through is hard. His body is following through in a, you know, very enthusiastic way. You know, it's not like, you know, a guy like Steven Stamkos who he just one times a puck, he just looks comfortable at all times. So I'll be interested to see how this evolves moving forward with Jimmy Snuggerud. You know, like, is he a Mike Hoffman, or is he going to be a more accomplished, more complete player? I want to believe he's going to be a way more complete player, a more accomplished all-around player. You know, he's a good passer too. Mike Hoffman was a good passer. If you remember, Hoffman just played 1 year here in St. Louis. This guy scored more 6-on-5 goals that year, more goals, you know, off a one-timer. He had a left shot. Obviously, Snuggerud's a right shot. But similar in terms of how they score. But Hoffman had unbelievable hands, and, you know, I enjoyed watching Hoffman play that season. Certainly was really good for years in Ottawa. But his career just kind of came to a abrupt ending. But I love Snuggerud's game. Jake Neighbors, all these guys that were hurt, right? I kind of touched on that and didn't really finish my thought. So Sundqvist, yeah, he comes back and plays, scores a goal. You know, that's one Tarasov obviously wants back. It was very leaky, but, you know, the Blues will certainly take it. Sometimes you need some luck. The Blues have had plenty of goals scored against them this season that probably should not have gone in. So you'll take it when you can get it. But scary situation with Connor McDavid in Edmonton, and he received like 14 stitches, 8 on the outside, 6 on the inside, or 8 on the inside, 6 on the outside, whatever it was. Also cut his knee. When he told me last night, scariest situation he had ever experienced. And I think it was scary because of the way his teammates reacted on the ice. Colton Parayko, his best friend, once you start seeing blood, you start to panic, right? And I think that's what happened there. And the good thing is, obviously, it didn't cut any tendons, didn't, affect his Achilles or anything like that. And he talked about that when we had him on our post-game show last night. Real fun conversation. He's got that Gloria tattoo. I love that for Oscar Sundqvist. I called him the OG last night because he really is, man. These guys that are still around, still playing, who won a Stanley Cup here back in 2019, you got to really appreciate the fact that these guys are still here. The guys that won a cup who are still here, you got to appreciate. Jordan Kyrou. And listen, there's people, you're going to send me messages on Twitter, stop talking about Kyrou. He's such an interesting player to me because, production-wise, listen, it's been there from a goal-scoring standpoint, but he just leaves you wanting more often than not. The one thing about Jordan Kyrou is just when you watch him play over this recent stretch, you just ask yourself, why can't he be that guy almost every night? I mean, you look at the superstar players in the game and how they just deliver consistently, but their effort is there every single night. And that's the biggest head scratcher when it comes to Jordan Kyrou. Because when he's playing his game and he's having success and he's skating and Jim Montgomery talks about moving his feet and all of that, this guy is so good. I mean, a true definition of a game changer. He can change the game. And it helps when you get a guy like Philip Broberg intercepting a pass in the neutral zone and then using his feet to drive wide and then make a beautiful pass. Sometimes as a goal scorer, you need to be set up, right? A lot of times as a goal scorer, you need someone to get you the puck in scoring areas in a scoring situation. And that happened last night for Jordan Kyrou, and he was able to bury it. And he continues to put up points. He puts up 3 points. First time he's had a 3-point game this season. He was the number one star in the game. Is it personality-based? Well, what is it? Why can't he be that guy all the time? Because the trade rumors are obviously out there. If that's the Jordan Kyrou you're going to get every night, you're not trading Jordan Kyrou at $8 million a year. But the unfortunate part of it is that we've seen throughout his career, we just don't get that consistent performance. He is tough, though, and I know people don't want to hear that. But Jordan Kyrou is very durable. A couple nights ago against Dallas, he breaks his nose at the end of the second period. I mean, full-on broken nose. He's bleeding on the bench. You don't see him, leaning over or, laying down on the ice. I mean, he's just got some gauze inside his nose, and they're just plugging it up. A plastic surgeon had to come in and literally snap his nose back into place. Now, they were fearful of a concussion, and he needed to pass some tests for him to get cleared to play last night, and that's what happened. But you even go back to the playoffs last year against Winnipeg, and, Logan Stanley obviously rocks him, and maybe Kyrou wasn't the same player after that in the playoff series, but he hardly even missed a shift. You got to be willing to see it both ways with Jordan Kyrou. I feel like too many people will only look at the negative. They refuse to see any positive with Jordan Kyrou. But could you imagine this guy on the Detroit Red Wings or the Washington Capitals or San Jose? I mean, seriously. Edmonton? I mean, could you imagine if he's playing with one of these teams with high-end offensive talent surrounding him? I'm just saying, be careful. You move him, you better make sure you're getting something coming back the other way that's going to make you just as good. The Blues aren't as interested, from what I understand, in just getting a bunch of draft picks. I think they've gone down that road. They know they want players, and they need players that are going to make them better. Centers, defensemen, especially if you're going to move on from a guy like Falk. I know I'm reading some people saying, hey, the Blues are going to want a similar return that Calgary got for Rasmus Andersson when they traded him to Vegas. And they got Zach Whitecloud, who's an experienced defenseman, big, strong guy who can defend. And they got a conditional first rounder, conditional second rounder. Listen, Rasmus Andersson's 29. Well, what's Falk? 34, whatever, 34, 35? So the idea you're going to get the same return as a 29-year-old is probably unlikely. But the way he's playing, you're obviously going to get something good in return. And Doug Armstrong's not looking just to give him away and not get something that's going to help the team moving forward, coming back. But I love the way Falk's playing. I mean, his pass to Jonathan Berggren yesterday. I mean, first off, the dangle in the neutral zone, the one-handed pass. It got a lot on that pass, too. For Berggren, listen, for a one-timer, you got to have a firm pass to get a lot on your shot, right? From a velocity standpoint, from a power standpoint. If it's a soft pass, you're not getting as much on it. So he got enough on that with one hand to be able to get it over to Berggren. Great play. I got to give a shout out to Pavel Buchnevich. I think he had 2 more assists last night. And he looks like a completely different player playing center. Talked to him yesterday. And I said, what's the biggest difference last year versus this year? I think he had 11 points in 19 games last year playing center. This year his production's been certainly higher. His faceoff percentage is up like 10, 11 points, something like that, in comparison to last year while he's playing center. I know there's some games where he's playing the wing and maybe he takes an odd faceoff here and there, but I'm talking about games specifically where he is playing center. He said last year the system's been tweaked a little bit, so he's got more time and space right now, and he's able to carry the puck in the neutral zone, hang on to it. When he's playing wing, he says he's forced to maybe chip the puck in and then get it in the forecheck and try to get it back that way. It feels like at center, and this is something he talks about all the time, even when he's playing wing, he wants to be able to hang on to the puck. He's not a big chip and chase guy. Naturally, most Russian players aren't. So he doesn't really like to play that style of hockey, that brand of hockey. I think playing at center under the current system, I think allows him to play a little more of a natural game that fits his style of play. Now, a lot of guys have helped him out with the faceoffs. You know, Braden Shen certainly has. The other day in between periods, I know Robert Thomas apparently was showing him that, hey, you got to get your lower hand, your bottom hand's got to go lower on the shaft of the stick. And if you watch Buchnevich yesterday taking faceoffs, look how low his bottom hand is. I mean, it's almost on the blade, right? It's right where the bottom of the shaft and the blade connect. I mean, that's how low his bottom hand is. So Robert Thomas helping him out. And we all know Steve Ott had a lot of influence on faceoffs with this team. And, you know, he put together a video that he sent to Pavel Buchnevich that, you know, gives him little tips, whether you're on the left side, which would be his power side, the right side, which as a lefty, they call that your jam side, when the linesman is to your right as a lefty. A little harder to pull it back that way. And to win the faceoff just based on, obviously, being a left shot and having the linesman there, right there on your right. So he sent him a video showing him some clips and some little tips of how he can, you know, that can help him in the faceoff dot. And so I think that has helped him as well. So I like hearing that type of stuff. I think Pavel Buchnevich is playing his best hockey of the season as well. You know, what we said earlier in the year was that everyone was struggling at the same time. You never really got anybody or everybody playing their best hockey at the same time. And I think you're starting to see that now. Everyone's kind of moving in the right direction at the same time. It's good to see Jake Neighbors score as well. So he blocks a shot. If you remember several weeks ago, he broke his leg, his femur, had a fracture in the femur. That was in Detroit. That was the game for me that really just kind of set this season backwards. The Chicago game at home at the beginning of the year, and then in Detroit where the Blues had a 4-0 lead in the first period, ended up losing that game. And they lost Robert Thomas in that game. He got the concussion, and that's when Jake Neighbors broke his leg. It was just a terrible game all around for St. Louis in terms of how it played out. But he blocked a shot in the exact same spot. He thought he broke his leg again. I mean, could you imagine if that were to happen twice? Right there in the femur, same exact spot, and they were able to check it out, obviously, and all the tests came back looking good for Jake Neighbors, and he was able to get back in there. You know, that was kind of like a Braden Shen type shot. We used to see Shen score a lot of goals on breakaways like that, where he wouldn't get close to the goaltender, wouldn't come in and deke the goaltender, but he would just rip it. And that's what Jake Neighbors did, man. It's hard to do that in stride and get enough power on it to disguise the shot and then beat an NHL goaltender clean like that. It's a hell of a shot. Love seeing that from Jake Neighbors last night. So all these guys, you had Neighbors with the femur, you had Kyrou with the broken nose, you had the skate laceration with Sundqvist. They all come back and they all score. Penalties galore. It was just kind of like a crazy, crazy game. But I love how aggressive the Blues were from a defensive standpoint, getting up ice. Cam Fowler almost scored a couple of goals. Tarasov got his glove on one of them specifically that I can remember. But it was the most aggressive and the best I had seen Fowler skate in a little while. Parayko was deep in the offensive end, and he's still waiting for his first goal of the season. But those two guys, you talk about last year versus this year, and with Colton Parayko scoring 16 goals last year, and I want to say 14 of those came at even strength, which may have led all defensemen in the NHL. I certainly was up there. I don't know if it did. But that's a lot of even strength goals for a defenseman. Get 14 in a season. And you look at Cam Fowler last year, he had 10 points in the Stanley Cup playoffs, had so many memorable moments in the regular season down the stretch after he came over here, including the Winter Classic where he scored 2 in his 1,000th game. You're just not getting the same production out of those guys. But I love what we saw from Broberg yesterday, skating, and then making a play. I think that's the most important part. We see Broberg all the time go end to end, these electrifying rushes. It beats a guy wide. Maybe he's able to get to the front of the net, maybe the middle of the ice, but there's just nothing that really comes out of it. So it's good to see him execute and make a play and the Blues score on it as a result of his skating. So again, a real positive. Now, the Blues had a 4-2 lead. They lost the 4-2 lead. Florida, heart of a champion, two-time defending Stanley Cup champion. They come back and tie it up. Matthew Tkachuk getting healthy and, getting more and more comfortable. That's a great sign for Team USA fans. 2 beautiful goals for Matthew Tkachuk. He had an assist in the game as well. So again, if you're a fan of Matthew Tkachuk, you like seeing that. So that 3 points now for him. So he's over a point per game now since coming back from his abdominal injury, which is not easy to come back from. I mean, this guy was out for a long time. You know what's interesting? I will pass this along about Sasha Barkov. Like, he apparently looks unbelievable. If the Panthers make the playoffs, Barkov's going to come back and play. He will come back and play if the Panthers make the playoffs. Not if they win a round, he'll be back for round 2. No, this guy is an absolute animal. He's a beast. They don't make them like him, even in a lab. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like it. I was talking to some of the Panther players yesterday who are new to the team, who hadn't really seen him before. They're like, this guy just had, and other players have had ACL injuries too. And for this guy to come back and perform the way that he's performing right now is just absolutely incredible. He's so far ahead of schedule. If they're way out of the playoffs, I don't know if they're going to push it and throw him back in there and have him play games before the end of the year. But I'm telling you right now, this guy's going to play. If Florida makes the playoffs, he's going to play. Had a great conversation with Nico Mikkola last night, man. I had to tell this guy just how happy I am for him. I loved Mikkola when he first came into the organization, but the fact that he is had this type of career, man, I could not be happier for him. Such a great guy, although he took the penalty at the end of the game, tried to run the goalie. Come on, Tarasov, why didn't you come down to the other end? Bobrovsky just did that. I think January 19th was that day. I looked it up last night. Bobrovsky gets in a fight against San Jose, against, Alex Nedeljkovic? How come Tarasov didn't come back? I mean, you got Hofer and Matthew Tkachuk going at it behind the net. Then it's a full-on melee behind the Blues net, and Tarasov just stays down there. He hadn't had a good game anyway. I thought he'd come down. That's the only thing missing in last night's game was a goalie scrap. We had a couple fights. Tucker and Greer, there's a hell of a scrap. So, I thought Tucker had a good game last night, too. Speaking of ACL injuries, I got to give Robbie Fabry a shout out. This guy's had 5 surgeries. People know about the 3 ACLs, but he's had 2 other scopes on his knees because 2 of his ACL injuries were on the same knee, and then the third one was a different knee. But he's had scopes on knees. Last year, his season got shut down because he had a hand injury. This guy has just been through it, and the fact that he's still playing, I think it's like 10 or 11 seasons now for him as a National Hockey League player. And he scores a goal last night. First time scoring as a Blues since 2019, obviously. Only had 1 goal the season that he was traded to Detroit, and then gets his first of the season against Dallas. It was a nice goal, too. Gets to the middle of the ice and just snaps it home past Ottinger. But I just love the physicality and the passion that he's playing with. And in reality, he's kind of fighting for his career. This guy wants to continue to play. He's trying to get a contract for next season. I just think he's been valuable. He's kind of like a Bergeron for me. Like, these guys, when they're in the lineup, they find a way to impact the game. And I love seeing that from Robbie Fabry right now. All right, so the Robert Thomas trade rumors continue. All I'm going to say is this. Listen, I feel like these ones are different this year in comparison to what we've heard before. In the past, I kind of dismissed it. And I'm not going to sit here and say he will or won't be traded. If he's asking for a trade, that's a completely different animal. If he's asking for a trade, then who knows, man. But I can't sit here and confirm that one. But again, you need centers, you need defensemen, and you move on from Robert Thomas, you're immediately trying to find that, elite level playmaker. It's that these guys are hard to find. So again, for me, any of these trades, if they happen, you can't sit here and say you should or shouldn't trade this guy or shouldn't trade that guy. It just all comes down to what you're getting back and who's coming back the other way. If you're able to make your team better, then obviously you explore everything, including a Robert Thomas or a Jordan Kyrou trade, which these guys obviously in trade rumors, and they're all out there. Let me just say this, though. A lot of these guys that are throwing out all these rumors about the Blues, I can promise you one thing. They aren't talking to Doug Armstrong, and they aren't talking to Alexander Steen. They have no idea. So there's a lot of stuff being thrown out there. And I know some guys, they just look at every roster and say, who's on an expiring contract, which teams are out of the playoffs, who's got veteran players that maybe teams might have interest in, and maybe they have another year left on their contract. Okay, so it would make sense to move this guy or that guy. Okay. You can always connect the dots from any team and say, hey, this team needs wingers, this team needs centers, this team needs defensemen, this team needs goaltending. I did have a long talk with Jordan Binnington the other day. He told me he wants to see this thing through. Yeah, he's not always in control of it. I think he's got a modified no-trade clause, much like Schenn does. The Schenn thing was going to be interesting because it's modified, but as the captain of the team, I don't think Doug Armstrong is just going to send him to a team or trade him without really having that conversation with him. I think that respect is certainly there. And he just had a baby. I don't know. It's tough to go now. Do you wait till the summertime if you're going to get moved? But these rumors just won't go away. But you watch the Blues play last night, and you just see how good they can be. I don't know. There's something about when they wear those uniforms from the mid-'90s. Have they ever lost wearing those? Maybe they have. They probably have. But they just look like a different team. They play with more energy. They play faster. They play quicker. So I love those uniforms. I love them back in the day, and they look unbelievable, especially against the white ice. It's got to come across great on television as well. So I'm a big fan of those. I'm wearing my Stiefel stuff today, man. U.S. ski team. We're going to have Stiefel jackets on during our broadcast tomorrow night when the Blues take on Columbus. Columbus, a really good team, obviously. They made a coaching change, and, and now they've taken off, and they're trying to get into the playoffs, man. It's so hard to get into the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. I mean, you look at Florida, you look at Columbus right now, especially when you're trying to play catch-up, and you're out of the playoff picture. I mean, you can keep winning, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, right now, Columbus, they're 10 points out of a playoff spot. Boston's in the second wild card spot at 67 points. Columbus is sitting there at 57. Florida's the top team currently sitting in the Eastern Conference outside of the playoff picture. And they're still 8 points behind Boston for that final wild card spot. It's going to be tough for these teams to get in there. It's not just St. Louis. I mean, look at all these teams that are out of the playoffs right now. Winnipeg wins the President's Trophy last year. Calgary obviously had a decent season. LA, very good team a year ago. It's just so hard, man. Washington's out of the playoffs. New Jersey, Columbus, Toronto, Rangers. Rangers are last right now. Last in the Eastern Conference. So, anyway, but I thought a real positive last night, man. It's nice to celebrate a victory and watch the Blues perform the way they did last night. And they got, 5 goals from 5 different players. Real positive to see. All right, let's move on with the show here. Jimmy Snuggerud joining us on this edition of Hockey Sense. Of course, got the Game winner last night. Just he's really been coming on in terms of being more involved in the play offensively. Had a couple of great assists in the previous game against Dallas, and the Blues come from behind. They came from behind. They're down 3-0, tied the game up, obviously lost it late. One more thing about that. I didn't have a problem with Tyler Tucker's icing there. Listen, I talked to him about it, and these guys know who's on the ice, right? The fourth line was on the ice. They were missing a couple of players, so lines are being shuffled a little bit. But I think you had Walker, Torpchenko, and Bukestad on the ice. They're not going to dangle and go end to end, right? You're just trying to get out of there and hopefully, get a point and try to win the game in overtime. Who knows? Maybe make a push and try to win it in regulation, but with the right players on the ice. So he sends the puck up to Torpo, takes a bad bounce. Obviously, it's an icing. The hope was he just gets it to Torpo, and Torpo can deflect the puck in and get off the ice and get some fresh bodies out there and try to get in on the forecheck and see if you can create something, or at least, at minimum, get out of regulation with a tie score. It didn't happen. The game in Dallas, the icings were a little more questionable. Pareko's icing first. They win the faceoff. Broberg gets a set play. Matthew Joseph, he's got to get to the wall. You got to take the proper route to get to the wall. There were some breakdowns there. So the rim got there before Joseph did. Heiskanen did a good job of not overextending himself and making it look like he couldn't get to the puck. Therefore, it was an icing. And then there was some bad execution, I'll put it that way, off of the faceoff that led to the Robertson goal. This one, I didn't have a problem with it. I agree with Jim Montgomery in terms of his breakdown of it. You'd like to win the faceoff. Nick Bukestad, he took the draw. Sometimes you just I was talking to Chris Pronger about this yesterday. He said sometimes you got to do whatever it takes to win the draw. Or at least allow it to be a 50-50 puck so your wingers can come in and try to win it for you. You may not always win it clean, but you really got to bear down. You got to compete on the faceoff. And so they lose it. Harley takes the shot. I think it hit Joseph on the way to the Blues goal and gets past Jordan Binnington. Blues end up losing the game. So it was good to see the Blues reverse that trend last night. Mikkola takes the penalty, so they had the power play. I asked Jim Montgomery today about the what they were looking to do strategy-wise on the power play. And listen, they're just trying to control the puck, move the puck around, try to create an opportunity to score. And that's exactly what happened. You get some guys who, were able to make a high-end play. Kyrou first to Buchnevich, then Gosim to Snuggerud, who was able to pound it home. So a lot of good things happened there. And it was good to see the Blues execute and get out of there with the 2 points. Tough loss for Florida. I mean, what are they, 8 points out of the playoff spot right now? Columbus comes in tomorrow night. They're 10 points out. As well as Columbus is playing with the new coach, Rick Bowness, since he took over. How are you going to make up 10 points in the Eastern Conference? That's going to be very difficult to do. And it's going to be tough for Florida to do it as well. They're 8 points out, but I can understand Florida. They have an excuse. They don't have their captain, Barkov, and they played so many games over the course of the last 2 years, man. I mean, it's just hard to get it done every year. Big shout out to Jamie Compound, by the way, who is an assistant coach of Florida, one of 2 coaches in the history of the league to win 3 Stanley Cups with 3 different teams. I think he's won 4 cups, but 4 cups with 3 different franchises, LA, Chicago, and Florida. He's won 2 with the Panthers, 1 in Chicago and 1 in LA. He and Scotty Bowman, the only 2 to ever do it. He just got named as an assistant coach with Team Germany. I said, are you German? He said, no, you don't have to be. So he'll be headed over there, and he's going to be on the coaching staff for Team Germany, Jamie Compound. That's a huge ad. So he and Leon Draisaitl and Tim Stützle, all the Germans, listen, they're going to try to get something accomplished there in Italy. And it wouldn't surprise me if somebody else outside of USA and Canada. And it's going to be a surprise. Cam and I have talked about that a lot on the Cam and Strick podcast. Just want to look at one thing here. Let's see. Snuggerud, that was his 8th goal of the season. Yeah. So, I mean, listen, if this guy can get out of the season, hover around 15. If he can get hot, I want to see Snuggerud get streaky. Like a lot of goal scorers, they all can get streaky. You're seeing Jordan Kyrou right now get streaky. I mean, Kyrou may end up with 25 to 30 goals. I don't know if he's going to get to 30 this year, but he could certainly get to 25. And based off the way the season has gone, if he can get to 25 to 28, then, you may have a different feeling going into the offseason, assuming that he is obviously still here with the Blues. So lots to get into with Jimmy Snuggerud. It's the Dad's Weekend coming up in Nashville and Dallas. So looking forward to the conversation. As always, again, First Community brings us Hockey Cinch each and every week. Card controls. You got to shop with added peace of mind. With card controls, receive real-time notification anytime your First Community credit card or debit card is used. Even turn off your card right from your mobile device if it's lost or stolen, so you can learn more at firstcommunity.com. All right, let's step aside. The one and only Jimmy Snuggerud joins me next here on Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. All right, great to have Jimmy Snuggerud. What's your favorite nickname that they call you, Jimmy?
I don't really mind anything, honestly. I like Snuggy, Snugs.
Snuggs.
That works.
Snugs. Jimmy Snipes.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That had to feel good last night, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, it felt great. It's always nice, come out with a win, especially after kind of a little losing skid like that, just to get back in the win column. And, the way that finished, it was a great pass and play.
What's your best memory of scoring? It wasn't a buzzer beater, but it was certainly close to it. I mean, just a game-winning goal, overtime goal, or a late game-tying goal or game-winning goal, because I've seen you score a couple of them.
Yeah, no, I mean, one that kind of comes to mind, I guess, is North Dakota, my freshman year in Minnesota. It was a late one. It's put the game into overtime, especially in a rival like that. There wasn't a lot of time left, so that was a good one.
Minnesota's biggest rival, North Dakota, is that who it is or no?
I'd say so. I don't know anymore, but when I was there for sure, I think it might be a good, I mean, obviously Wisconsin. So
if you didn't go to Minnesota, like who recruited you the hardest outside of the Golden Gophers? I know you weren't going to ever go anywhere else, Jimmy, but who else was coming after you?
I was pretty close with Tony Granato in Wisconsin, actually, a little bit. He's kind of the first guys who started recruiting me, and then I'd say some of the Colorado College, Denver was kind of in there. I talked with North Dakota a little bit, and I guess I kind of like Boston too. So I didn't really have like one like super close on me, but those teams were kind of like my top 5.
Yeah, okay. Tony Granato, great guy, friend of the show, man. We love all the Granatos. All right, so you started dreaming about playing for Minnesota at what age?
I mean, I had the Minnesota logo on my backyard rink. My dad made growing up, and my brother and I and my neighbor were out there a lot. We were painting that logo, so that was a dream. But when that came down to actually making the decision, it wasn't like exactly always just Minnesota. I had to think it through and the choice and all that. But when it came down to just practicing against the best every day, I think that's kind of when I made it.
You got a little banged up yesterday. I saw you flexing that leg. Are you feeling okay? And like, did that bother you the rest of the game or no?
I mean, it was just a little tweaked hamstring. It was weird, just kind of weird. Doesn't happen in hockey a lot, so I've never really felt it before, and just kind of tightened up on me. It's like I don't know how much time was left, but yeah, I mean, just finished the game. Best I could. It was just a little tight, but it feels a lot better today.
Okay, good. All right, the communication is so important from the bench to the penalty box because you're serving the penalty. So do you know before you go into the box that you're going straight out, or are you waiting for Jim Montgomery to kind of give you the indication and say, hey, you stay on?
Yeah, I'm waiting for sure. You don't really know before you go into the box, especially in a play like that, because you don't know what's going to happen during the play. Obviously, they took a penalty. So I think there's probably like 10, 15 seconds left. Just like most penalties, you look up and look what, Monty's telling you what to do. And yeah, he told me to go on the ice. And, like I said, fortunately enough, there were some really good passes made and that put it in.
Yeah, what a crazy game. I want to go back to the Dallas game first off, though, because you had some great assists on that. On Shin's first goal, I mean, it looked like a practice. It looked like a 5-on-0 drill. I mean, you guys are just coming out of your own zone. You guys come out so clean. And, you're able to slide it over to Shen and did a nice job posting in. Is that a set breakout? Walk us through that play.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the set breakouts we have. We supposed to swing to the right, and Pareko gave it to Devo, and he kind of just took middle ice and used his speed, kicked it out middle lane drive, and Schneider was there, and I tried to find him, and I mean he's got a great release, and he's got a great goal scoring ability. I mean both the shots were incredible. So yeah, I mean that was a set breakout, and it worked out in our favor.
What do you think of Dvorsky right now in terms of how his game is coming, and how much did you know of his game prior to coming to St. Louis?
I mean, I knew him a little bit from development camp, and I watched him in World Juniors and stuff. And I mean, he's so competitive, and he's got such a good shot too. Along with Shanner. But I mean, he's such a competitor too. I think that kind of goes without saying. I mean, he works so hard in the corners. I think he's been working on that, and in his low game, he's been battling so hard, and he can make plays and he can shoot the puck. So it's been really great to see him. This last little bit here where he's really lighting it up.
Yeah, he took a couple penalties yesterday, but those things happen, man. Sometimes they're just not preventable. I mean, he's working hard, right? He's trying to make things happen, and sometimes you're going to trip a guy.
Yeah, I mean it happens. It happens during the game. You accidentally get your stick in somewhere you don't want it to be, and it's unfortunate in the timing of it. But I mean, like I said, he's just competing hard, and those things happen.
All right, so last night, Kyrou has the puck. Do you see the play before it even happens? Are you saying, hey, this goes to Bucci, he's going to seam it to me right away, and I got to be ready for it?
I mean, I think there's so many different possibilities with those two guys on the ice. I mean, the puck can honestly go anywhere at any time. We're kind of working on that bumper pull out a bit. He gave it to Bucci there, and I kind of saw the seam open up, and it was a great play by him to put it, right where kind of it needed to be. But I mean, yeah, it's just honestly anything can happen. The play can go anywhere. The puck can go anywhere, especially with Rue and how he's been playing. Um, Such a great play, and fortunately enough, winning.
Yeah, it was a quick pass by Buchnevich. The puck looked like maybe it was on edge a little bit. So, I mean, how
Yeah.
important is it to elevate the puck on the one-timer there, right? Because these goalies, I mean, there's been chances where you've had to one-time the puck and maybe the puck's been flat on the ice, and these goalies at this level, they can make it look like an easy save, even though you're getting a lot on the shot. Is it important? Do you have it in your head, hey, I need to get this up top?
Yeah, when the puck's rolling, I think sometimes you don't even know where it's going,
Yeah.
let alone the goalie. So, I mean, with a shot like that, just trying to put it anywhere on the kind of the left side of the net and elevate it as quickly as possible. Something Davey Alexander has been kind of talking with me about elevations and hitting spots on the net. Doesn't have to be pin perfect, but just more of an area on the net. And yeah, it just kind of came off the stick well and hit that left side.
Okay, so I want to talk about that. So Davey Alexander, so people know him as the goalie coach, but he's communicating with the forwards too. So give me an idea of what he's telling you there. Like, I mean, is it based on who the goalie is that day, how they move from their left to their right, or whatever? But I mean, are you trying to pick spots on specific goalies, or he's just helping you in terms of puck placement when you do get your shot off?
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot sorry, goes into it. Different goalies watching film on them before the game and where to shoot and whatnot. But I think in a scenario like that, it's a seam pass, and it's hard for goalies to get across the crease that quickly. So just try and hit that short side of the net as quickly as you possibly can, without obviously him saving it.
That's a hard pass too. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Look like I had some steam on it. How difficult is it to one time those passes that are coming that hard?
Yeah, I mean it's honestly if you get a hold of the hard ones, they come off the stick quicker. It's I don't know, it's a fun skill to work on, doing things like that at the end of practice, and whenever you can work on it. Honestly, that's something you need to do, is get off hard passes, just so in game scenarios you can do it.
So your stick looks like it's like you have like a whippy flex on it. Like, is it the same flex you used in college? Have you made any adjustments there or no?
No adjustments since college. Nope, I've had an 80 flex for probably almost 4 years now, so it's just kind of all the same.
What's the benefit? Like, what do you like about the 80 flex? Is it handling the puck? Is it shooting? Like, what is it?
I think it's when you catch passes, it's not too whippy, but when you shoot in any different scenario, I think it's whippy enough to where I'm not a guy who really likes stick handling and feeling my stick flex, whereas I think a 70 and 60, 67, 70, 75, it kind of happens a bit more. But obviously, the more you go up, the stiffer it gets. And in shots, it's just kind of, to me, it's the perfect amount, but there's so many different critiques guys have.
What curve are you using?
Using the P28.
Okay. So it's the same thing as a
Yep.
Bauer P28, basically, right?
Yep.
It's got a
Exactly.
little bit of a hook.
Yeah. The little toe hug can be a little too much.
So, but you've been getting a lot of shots as of late, and you've always been a shooter. So, how much confidence has your confidence been growing over the course of the last week or two?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. There's obviously stirs in the season where you're going to be getting chances and some not, but I think the most important part is getting chances. Being able to play with Shenner and just creating as many opportunities as I can with him. He's such a good player, so it makes it a lot easier for me to get to spots and to try and find him. But he's been able, to find those spots and kind of find me in different areas, and it's been such a blast to have that opportunity.
All right. So you mentioned Cairo, and listen, we've seen Cairo have great seasons, and it hasn't gone the way he had hoped this year, but he's really turned it on over the course of the last 10 games or so. What impresses you the most about his game when he's going the way he's going right now? Like, what are you seeing out there?
I mean, when he's in his full state, he's hard to stop. Yeah, I've seen him in practice before, and just watching him from the bench in games, it's pretty surreal. Like he's one of the best, and when he's doing his cutbacks and making plays, everything's happened so quickly. It's like one thing to another to the next, and I'm so happy to see him, succeeding in his individual game right now, and especially last night. I mean, he's just that was a great example of what he's at when he's at his best to me, what I think. Just, shooting, scoring, making plays, everything.
You ever had a 3-on-3 in regulation before? You ever seen one
No,
before?
I haven't. That was crazy.
It was. I was like, what is going on here?
I know. I've never seen that before.
A lot of penalties being called. What's your relationship with Monty like? Are you talking with him more than any other coach in terms of just different areas of your game, and how much communication goes in between the two of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of talk with all the coaches. Maybe not Webby as much, just because he's a defensive coach, but with Claude and Monty, I think um, the relationship it's strong. Talking with them after games, before games, and practice, skating around the ice, things I can work on. They're such great coaches, and they understand it at this level of what it takes to kind of be a pro on and off the ice. So I think the relationship definitely has grown, and it's been really fun to work with them.
All right, so you came late last season. First off, I'm curious, like how much advantage that gave you, and if you were to tell other prospects who had that opportunity to sign late in the season, take advantage of that, right?
Yeah, I think when I got here in or late March, early April, or whatever, just kind of get familiar with the team. Obviously, just coming into this season, they were on a long winning streak when I joined, and I jumped in, and it was such a fun time, and they brought me in so well. There's so many veterans on that team, and what they had to say to teach me and stuff. And I was really fortunate to be put in this situation. Honestly, it's just like I said, to be aware of the locker room, the ranks, and coming to this year, it's just kind of know the guys a little bit more, made it a lot easier.
How would you break down your season? Are you happy with the way things have gone, and what areas are you really looking to improve on?
Yeah, I think there's been ups and downs for sure. Individually, um, it's kind of how seasons go. It's not always going to be great, and the bad times come and the good times come. I think for my standard of individually isn't where I exactly wanted it to be, but I'm happy with what's happening right now and the development process of it all. I think just obviously stinks that we're not winning, and that's kind of what you want to get out of a season is win and make the playoffs. And I think we still have a chance, obviously, to end this break here and coming off the break strong. It's not over yet. We still have a lot of year left, but Just this first, little or long portion, I guess, first 50 games. It's like I said, there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of learning experiences, and it's been really good to go through.
All right, so this is the first year that you've gone around the league, and you've seen some crazy things happen with Ovi scoring his 900th goal. I mean, Sidney Crosby had a big milestone. I want to say McDavid might have too. I mean, there's been a couple other ones where you guys have been on the other side of it. But what's it been like being on the ice with a lot of these guys? I mean, the McKinnons who just put on an absolute show against you. McDavid was incredible a week or so ago in Edmonton. So, like, what has that experience been like for you?
It's crazy, it's honestly really fun to go up against the best of the best. Like you said, the things we've seen, always goal. Crosby, whatever, however many points it was.
Yeah,
It's
I
a lot of
forgot. I was
points.
like,
I
so
don't remember
I was gonna say
exactly.
1,200, but it may be like whatever 1,500 for all I know. I can't even
Yeah,
remember.
it's cool just to see that as a player, and it's fun to just travel different places and learn new things. But it's been a blast to just kind of to see that from the bench and see it from my eyes, and what those guys have achieved in their careers and what they've done along the way. But it's so fun to see that, and to have that experience.
Yeah, it must have been 1,700 points or something. He's at 1,744 right now. So
Yeah,
you got a
I'm
little
sure it
ways to
was.
go to catch him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you send Jackson Lacombe a congratulatory text for him making the Olympic team?
Yeah, I did. He called me probably a few hours after he found out, or I don't know how many hours, whatever, however long after. And I mean, I'm so happy for him. It's so great to see that, and the opportunity that he has to go over there and win gold. I'm super happy for him.
Yeah. Give us the scouting report, though. People don't know he's like a hidden gem. I was talking to
Okay.
Billy Guerin right at the beginning of the season, and obviously they had the orientation camp, and he was like, "Hey, man, I love this Jackson Lacombe kid. Like, he may not make it now, but he's going to be on the team moving forward in the future. And if we have injuries, you never know. And sure enough, you have injuries, and he gets the call. So, what should people know about this guy? Because I don't think a lot of fans truly understand how good he is.
He's kind of got it all, honestly. He's got a long stick. He's gifted very well offensively and defensively. He can shut plays down well. He can run a power play. He's kind of your guy when it comes to that, especially at Minnesota. I mean, he developed so great throughout his years at Minnesota. I was fortunate to play with him my freshman year, but he's a great hockey player, but he's even better person. He's honestly, him or Colton Parayko are one of the nicest guys I know. He's just a great person all around. He cares so much for the people around him, and I think that's definitely important when you're picking guys for to play at that level. Is you need to be a good teammate, and he's the best of the best.
Nobody's nicer than Colton Parayko.
It's a close. It's a close one.
Hey, is your dad excited about the dad's trip or what?
Yep, yeah, he's excited. It should be a blast for him to kind of to see it and enjoy it. He's obviously been out of the game for a while, but it'll be nice for him to see it again.
Are you talking to him? Like, I was talking to Monty about it today. Just like, it's kind of the experience of growing up, being a hockey player, right? The car rides with your dad to practice, from practice to games, and back and forth. My son's got a game today. It's like,
Yeah.
um, those you could never have those back, right? What were those experiences like for you growing up?
Sometimes good, sometimes getting yelled at for a bad game.
So I don't think to feel
Depends.
bad if I'm yelling at my kid after a game.
No, you gotta teach him. Yeah, it's great. Honestly, I have such a close relationship with my dad, so it's been really awesome to kind of learn from him, from his eyes, and what he has to say about everything. And even when I don't play well to this day, he's letting me know. So he's just what dads do best. Honestly, it's keeps you in check, keeps you in line, and doesn't let your head get in the clouds, and just gives you an ego check every once in a while when you need it most.
I love it, man. Is he texting you? Are you calling him? Are you guys talking after every game? Like, what's
Yeah,
how much time does he give it when the game ends?
yeah, depends. I mean, sometimes it's not every game. He understands that it gets there's 82 games, so there's a lot. But I mean, calling him the day after, text, whatever it is, it's just I mean, calling my parents every day anyway. So
Yeah.
talking about hockey.
All right, a couple more things for you. The break's coming up. What's this year been like? Because it's so different than a college schedule. It's not even close. So many games. How's your energy and how you been able to maintain the mental side of it, right? It's been such a grind this season with the Olympic schedule.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hockey. I didn't play much in December because of my injury, but I think even with that injury, it's a lot of hockey, and it's fun though. You just gotta embrace it, honestly. Being able to play so many games, it's fun. Just playing hockey in general, it's just the love of the game is such a fun thing to do whenever you can possibly do it. So it's been a lot of games, but it's worth it.
Yeah, okay. And the Olympics, is that something you have circled? Is that a goal of yours one day? Like, I mean, you have so much history representing USA hockey. How much would you love to play in a Olympic tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to. It's everyone's goal as a hockey player. I'm sure it's circled on every single guy's in the NHL. So it's something that you dream of. It's a goal that everyone has. You want to play for your country and just embrace the logo and do it for the people around you.
Yeah, well, it was clutch last night, Jimmy, man. It was great to see you do that. Brought the house down. I love those jerseys, by the way. You like wearing those sweaters or no?
Yeah, I do. I like it. I like the red. I don't remember who I was talking with about yesterday. It was Walks about red helmets too, just to complete the red look. But I do like them.
I like that. Put a little red. It looks great on a white ice, though, man. I love it too. So a lot of people didn't like it back in the day, but I love when you guys wear them now. And I don't know if you guys have lost a game when you wear them either. You guys are buzzing when you put those sweaters on. So it was fun to watch, man. So all the best. Go get some rest today. We'll see you tomorrow at the rink.
All right. Yep. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. Take care, man.
Bye.
All right. That was Jimmy Snuggerud. Snuggy. Always great conversations with him, man. And we'll have plenty of more of those coming up over the years. It was good to see him win a game for the Blues with this patented shot. This guy can really shoot the puck. He's always been a great shooter. And we saw another example of that last night. Blue No Roofing, 314-920-5713. Call David Novak today. Lordo's Diamonds, Hackett Security, Kirkwood Fence, all our great sponsors. Mars Blade, we're the Mars Blade hat today. Our friends Per over at Mars Blade out of Sweden. So many NHL players are trying their holders and their inline skates and all the apparel that they have. Love Mars Blade. Check it out online. You can get your son or daughter some inline skates for the spring into the summer. And they got the holders for the ice skates as well. A lot of NHL players, a lot of professional players around the country are getting turned on to Mars Blade and using it and now endorsing Mars Blade. You don't have to be in Sweden to get it, but we've seen guys like Shane Wright and Austin Matthews and other players in the past promote Mars Blade. Man, check it out. Get those inline skates in time for inline season coming up in the spring and the summer. Columbus is here tomorrow. That's going to be interesting with Columbus in St. Louis. Again, they've got such a long way to go. They're 10 points out of the playoff spot, but they've been much better as of late ever since they've made the coaching change. So it should be a good one. We'll have all the action for you on FanDuel Sports Network. Don't forget, 6 p.m. drop of the puck local time. So it's an early start Saturday night against the Columbus Blue Jackets. No Jamal Mayers today. He is on assignment. He's actually with his son, Crew. They've got a tournament in Florida. So great place to be in Florida, man. It's like in the teens here right now. So Spas and More, one of his great sponsors, American Hot Tub and Swim Spa manufacturer. Check it out. 12957 Grabway Road in Sunset Hills. Spas and More. Bartolino's 5 restaurants, Bartolino's South, Bartolino's Osteria, Chris's Pancake and Dining, Chris is at the Docket, and Bartolino's Twin Oaks. Speaking of Chris Saracino, his brother Nick Saracino is going to represent Italy in the upcoming Olympics. Man, I got to give him a shout out to Nick Saracino. I meant to mention that earlier today. So best of luck to Italy in the upcoming Olympics. And then Dobbs Tires and Auto Centers, get those new tires in time for what could be even a more messy winter, but certainly in time for the spring as well, when you know that tornado weather is going to come. Now you get the rainy weather, all that stuff. You need good tires. Get them at Dobbs Tires and Auto Centers. All right, for Aiden, everybody here at Half Coast Studios, I'm Andy Strickland, reminding you to keep your head up and your stick on the ice. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. See you next Friday.